All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started at 7 o'clock. Call the City Council Caucus meeting to order. First item on the list for discussion is the motorized scooter operation. Councilmember Jasper Lucas.
Thank you. I appreciate that a discussion regarding the motorized scooters was added to the agenda for the caucus. I receive complaints and concerns at least once a week from Erlanger residents about motorized scooters on our streets and sidewalks, and I know other council members have as well. So I personally witnessed people on scooters riding down the wrong side of the road and made calls to the non-emergency police number. It seems like the biggest issue is that people just don't understand that if they're on the street that they really need to obey the same laws as a vehicle, and the same applies for bicycles. And if they're riding on the sidewalk, they need to yield to pedestrians. As I said a couple weeks ago, my intention in discussing this and proposing legislation was not to propose something that would involve giving citations to children for the way they're riding their scooters or attempting to locate their parents in order to cite them. And after talking with the city attorney and Assistant Chief Fleming and City Administrator Mark Collier, we agreed that the best course of action to take at this time is to do some community education, regarding scooter safety. Mark anticipates that we will soon fill the new community engagement coordinator position that was funded in this year's budget, and we feel that this will be a great project for that position to take on. The community education can include what KRS currently already says about scooters and other similar devices, such as hoverboards and segways, as well as how to safely operate these devices within the city on streets and sidewalks. Assistant Chief Fleming also agreed that we could engage our SROs to help educate students on safe scooter habits. Ultimately, we all want those riding scooters in our city to be safe, but we also want drivers in the city and pedestrians to be safe as well. At this time, I'm not going to propose any new ordinances regarding this. I think we should wait and see how the community education goes. I also wanted to add that if residents have specific concerns about scooters in their neighborhood, they need to call the police department to share their concerns. This was echoed when I spoke with Chief Fleming yesterday. There may be a specific issue in a certain neighborhood that needs to be addressed, but as with anything, if the police are not aware of it, then they can't necessarily address it. So just asking residents to make sure they're calling the non-emergency number if they do encounter issues. I don't know, Mark, if you want to add anything to that.
No, I think as Councilwoman Jasper Lucas said, this is going to be a first great project for our community engagement coordinator position. This is precisely one of the things that we thought they could take on and lift. So excited to get that hired and already have their first assignment. So thank you.
All right, moving on. All right, our next topic on the agenda is the 2025 tax rates. This is one of my favorite topics, especially when we have good news again for the 11th year in a row. So we're going to talk about the property tax and the tangible tax rate. And I know that this has been a really condensed, very quick turnaround time. It always seems to be just so rushed. And that just is just the timing of the information coming in from the state and then us getting calculated and getting the compensating rate from the ad. It's just, it always comes down to very quick turnaround time. So, and then in order for us to make sure that we're getting the bill in everybody's mailbox by October 1st, Sherry's deadline is the first week of September. So I'm going to be asking you guys, we need to have a special meeting next Tuesday in order to do the first reading of the tax rate. And then we'll have the second reading and the vote on the September 2nd council meeting. And that'll give Sherry the proper amount of time to get it over to the printer. I have it set for 7 o'clock next Tuesday. Is everybody agreeable to that, just to keep it the same, or does it matter? it won't take all that long, but, okay, so we'll just keep it at 7 o'clock, and then we'll have the second reading and the vote on September 2nd. So we'll get into the nitty-gritty. So I want to thank Finance Director and HR Director Kara Kramer for putting everything together, and Sherry, of course, you're just absolutely incredible. You always do such a wonderful job with your calculations, so thank you. So the real property tax values increased by 1.4%, totaling over $1.89 billion in value. And our tangible property values jumped 11.5%, totaling $188 million in tangible property values. So our recommendation is to take the compensating rate, which is a tax rate decrease on both the property and the taxable or the tangible property rate, tax rate. So as you can see in your information that was provided to you, we're going to go from 0.247 to 0.244 for real property, and for tangible property, we're going to go from 0.198 to 0.178. All right. Now, with these, leads me to my next thing I want to talk about. So I always want to take the opportunity to take a look at what those tax rates are going to bring in over our estimated revenues. And as you can see, it exceeds the estimated revenues by $227,000. So what I want to just put into your minds so that we can think about it later, because as you know, when we do the insurance premium tax rate decrease, those don't take effect until March. So it's not something that we have to really talk about or actually make a determination on right now. But what I would love for us to think about between now and December is another 0.25% of the insurance premium tax rate. The estimated amount of revenue that would decrease is $134,900. So we would still be in the positive. We would still have a budget surplus based on the estimated revenues that Kara put into the budget. Like you guys know, the audit will be done in December, so we'll be able to utilize audited numbers versus estimated numbers, which will be an even bigger testament to our ability to do an insurance premium tax rate decrease. So you have the proposal, the staff recommendation on property and tangible, with the hope and further discussion on the insurance premium tax rate come January. How's that sound, guys? Yes.
Sorry, question. I thought you said December. Would we discuss it in December for making a decision in January?
Yeah, we would discuss it in December once we have the audited. So the audit comes in December, so then we'll be able to just have the audited numbers versus the estimated.
And you said that was 0.25%?
Yep. Yeah, so right now, our insurance premium tax revenues, and this is the total revenue from 2024, is $5.1 million, and it would take us to 5.9993. 4.9. Okay, so it's a decrease of $134,948.64 if we go from 9.5 to 9.25. All right. What do you guys think? Are you comfortable with us doing the compensating rate? 11th year in a row, guys. Pretty good. Okay, so I will go ahead and put that on for a first reading for next Tuesday at 7 p.m. All right, we're all good? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
No, we're good. Motion for what? Yeah, motion to adjourn, sure.
Do you have something?
Is it okay for?
Yeah?
Okay. I know one of the things we had talked about putting on the agenda tonight was the Virginia Avenue issue. I guess I know that there were a lot of questions from Mrs. Reckers and Mrs. Jasper Lucas. Have you had all your questions answered?
Yeah, I think the majority of my questions were satisfied with the most recent correspondence. Thank you.
I'll concur with that.
Is there a plan, like, to do something with the information that you've gotten?
I think it would be lovely if we could have a memo next time instead of finding a $10,000 transaction in the check register that was issued to the spouse of a council member. It'd be so much easier if we just had a memo when those things happen. And I feel like in my tenure on council, there was one other occurrence where that happened, and I remember Matt Kramer issuing a memo. So it was just a surprise to see, and that's why there were questions involved.
Okay.
This was in my response to the email that I did not send to all of council. But to kind of echo what Mrs. Drucker said, I think because of who the check was written to, we have to be above board, and we have to make sure that we are following the correct procedures, because we don't want there to be any question of impropriety. I wasn't questioning that there was an impropriety necessarily. I was just saying there needs to be a defined process. Was that process followed? And, we got the information that we needed, but I think we were valid in asking the questions. And, I would never want there to be a question about something money that I had received. So I just don't want there to be any hint of impropriety. So that's the main reason that I asked the questions that I asked. As I said in my email response, was not my intention or goal at all to question staff. It was just simply questioning city spending. So if you'd like to see the email, I'm happy to forward it to you, but no, I feel like my questions have been answered. I'm not going to speak for Ms. Reckers, but I do echo what she said.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'd just like to close the loop. There was no wrongdoing found. The city attorney was completely comfortable with the way that everything was handled. So, all right. Motion to adjourn. Ms. Reckers, Ms. Skidmore. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. Have a good evening.